Welcome to Entrepreneur Life with me, John Cavill. I'm an entrepreneur and I'm joined by others. Lauren's here, me, Kieran's here, he's holding the camera, Ishka's here. We won't put Ishka, no, she's here, we won't put Ishka on camera. We're off to HMP Berwyn. I've been talking about this for a little while. And if you watched the last episode, I spoke about it. So we're off to Berwyn. It is a exploratory trip. Is that a fair example of it, Lauren?
Call it research. Research trip, mate.
Research trip. Cool, let's do that. All right, let's get in. Lauren, you going in the front?
Absolutely. Right.
Check this out. I know, it's pretty sweet. It's pretty cool. It does mean that you can't drive without your seatbelt on because, well, you can't drive without your seatbelt. Does anyone know where we're going?
HMP Berwin.
Yeah,
You literally just like...
Sorry. No, I can do one better than that.
This is going to be another car vlog.
BMW. Another car vlog.
Welcome to my BMW.
It's nice you watch it though, isn't it? It's lovely. Like, you know, I really like that. Cheers.
I could tell the views all about the car.
Just making sure you don't say anything nasty about me.
I never say anything nasty about you, just the truth. I fucking hate these streets. This is ridiculous. Do you know what I mean?
Where whoever fucking gets there first keeps going, and if multiple people think that they get there first, obviously it's an issue. But my mom genuinely used to scare my friends in the car.
No, Lauren, it's not.
Absolutely is, mate.
That's not a British roundabout. When you get to a roundabout, Lauren, you stop and you give way to the right.
Do you ever have it though when you get to a roundabout and like each one is filled by someone you want to stand looking at each
Oh, yeah,
other?
just go, whoever's bravest. Do you know in China, if you have an accident, it's whoever calls the police first is in the right.
Right, so have the police ready to call
Yeah, pretty much. Like if you crash into somebody, you ring the police. Like, oh, someone's just crashed into me, and then like you're in the right. We've arrived. We're at prison. We're at prison, mate. Drop you off. Like, drop you off at prison.
Bye, Lauren.
Nobody should be this
I was
excited.
meant to starve myself to get out the vehicle or something. I was like,
Starve myself to get out of the vehicle. Yeah. And just stop eating the biscuits, mate, up by our office when you come to visit. When you come to visit
don't be
us.
like that.
You're like, what biscuits have you got today, Joe?
Don't be like that.
So,
Have a good biscuit.
Jeff. Who's the dude filming? Not Kieran, the other dude. Yeah, so we're here. We're at Berwyn. We're at Berwyn, so we're going to go in and have a look. We can't take the camera with us, despite what Kieran thinks we can, because it's obviously a phone. So that's got to go in the car. So I guess we'll see you in a couple of hours. Couple of hours. We're going to go and have a jolly in jail. A jolly jail.
Hashtag jolly jail.
Hello, good evening. End of the day. So I'm just waiting to pick up my daughter from gymnastics. So I've done my long day. It's 10 to 9. Friday evening, pretty tired. What a start to the day. I mean, I guess that for you guys, it probably seems a little bit of a bizarre episode. And I was probably a little bit flippant earlier, or a little bit kind of casual about what we were doing. So had that, massive intro into what we were doing, going up to HMP Berwyn. You saw nothing of the prison, obviously, because I can't take you inside, clearly. If I took a camera in, firstly, I wouldn't be able to get it in, and even if I did, I'd get in so much trouble. So yeah, clearly I couldn't do that. Let's pick up on the visit. So basically, the dog handlers at Berwyn have been coming to Shrewsbury for a few years now, using Shrewsbury, and actually we've used Shepton as well in the past, but obviously predominantly Shrewsbury because of its location to Berwyn. And they come down, they train the dogs, and they do assessments and tests and training, and we have loads of them coming down, and it's brilliant. It's great to have them. We really enjoyed it. And a couple of months ago, I said to one of the guys, I was like, hey, do you think we could maybe come and have a visit at some point at the prison? It'd be really useful for our tour guides to have a look around and just sort of see what a modern prison looks like now and how that all operates. And I think that would be really informative for them. And they were like, well, yeah, we'll go and ask the governors and see what they say. And they came back and said, hey, yeah, absolutely fine. We can take a few of you round we can take a few of you around the prison. We'll take you around and show you kind of how it looks and, do that. So we just put together the numbers and we got really, really fortunate that they said that they could take 2 groups. So we actually were able to get all of the tour guides and all the really important people that it's really key for. And I say important people, I mean because it's part of their job that they deliver tours all the time. So having that knowledge and information is super important to those guys. So they went and did that, and they had a brilliant time. I shouldn't say had a brilliant time in prison, but it was so informative for them, and they were ranting and raving about how good it was and all the information they picked up and how accurate we still are, and just updating various bits so we can continuously improve our product of a guided tour and a self-guided tour and our interpretation spaces and such like that. So that was all good. I then went today and I was able to take a few of the marketing team with me, a couple of the other directors, and Lauren came again so she could do on both groups. And basically, went to have a look around. Now, I am the only person out of our entire organisation, other than the prison officers, that have been through a working prison in the past. So for me, I kind of had an expectation of how to feel because I've done it. A very different type of jail, but I had some knowledge, and also the guys had given me some tips from the week before in terms of what they were going to have in terms of prisoners, like what to expect when you meet prisoners. So that was good. Really interesting to see the prison. Something that I think some of the guys they know about, but they didn't expect was the banter, the abuse that you get from prisoners. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. So walking past like the exercise yards, groups of prisoners inside the yards, it was hot and they were obviously out exercising and stuff. And maybe 50, 60 prisoners kind of getting really kind of curious about what's going on. Big fencing. We're the other side of it. They're one side of it. There's a group of about 8 or 9 of us, including the officers. They don't like the officers anyway, these dog officers, as I've been told. So there was some, hey, what are you doing? Pedo, like kind of stuff like that. Nonce. All right, darling. Like loads of like that kind of stuff going on, and it was fine. You kind of expect it, really big groups of people. That's what I was expecting to see, and is exactly what happened. And then when we went through one of the wings, it was really interesting because I've never been a prison officer, but one of the things I just instantly did when I was watching people walking down the wing was I went underneath the landing, and just all the conversations I've had with Graham and the previous officers and all the things I've done inside jails, I just know to walk under the landing. So that's naturally what I did, and I ended up walking alongside a set of cells, whilst others walked in the middle. I just felt safer walking there because nothing could come down on me. Not that it would, but I just know that that's a thing. And spoke to a couple of prisoners sort of through from the landings, from upstairs, just brief chats. One of them was shouting, "Hey, you're going to become a prison officer? You're going to start working here?" I was like, "No, mate, don't be silly. Look at me," type of stuff. And just like a couple of comments, some really funny comments from prisoners as well. One guy really had me in stitches. The landing bars are like just like railings, effectively for the safety barriers for the landings. And one prisoner kind of came along and he grabbed me, ducked down, and, "This is what it normally looks like. They got us in cages. Help us, save me." And it was very funny, the whole tongue-in-cheek kind of thing of him really, I guess, over showing how prison isn't. That was really interesting, and it was really fascinating to see modern jail, to see what that looks like, how it operates and such along those lines. Obviously, it's not all happiness and rainbows. Clearly, there was probably 5 or 6 alarms that went off whilst we were there. So like officer alarms. So incidences happening. We were able to see just certain things about like how many things people try and smuggle in and what that looks like. It was just fascinating. I won't go into too much detail because I don't actually know what I am and what I'm not allowed to say, because I think we probably saw things that we were allowed to see, but maybe I'm best not sharing. So if you're curious about that, ping me a message in the comments and I'll see if I can have sort of private chats about it. But I won't publish it up here because I don't want to upset anyone or step out of turn, effectively. But really fascinating, really grateful to the guys for doing that for us. And I think that's what partnerships are all about. It was really a partnership. They come to use our facility. We asked if they could do us this favour in return. They did. And I think that's brilliant. I think that's the way it works. And it's going to massively improve our product. And they get a real benefit because they obviously get to train in a real prison which is empty, so therefore they can train in a different way. And it's fascinating because if you come to the prison on a day that the dog trainers are there, they will show you what they do and you'll get to see the dogs in action and such like that. So it's really, really good stuff. And it really, I guess the important thing from my perspective, it's had my brain firing at 1,000 miles an hour. It was lovely for me because my visionary brain, my entrepreneur brain, my kind of like, whoa, we could do this and this and this, and what if we put this together and put this together and put this, and I was just off in so many different tangents. And then I came crashing back down to earth this afternoon when I got back to work, because I was roped back into the marketing role as marketing director. I was roped back into other roles with some finance stuff, back into other bits, which is nobody's fault. It's just the way our organisation is currently structured. So crashing back to earth just pulled me back out of that kind of entrepreneurial life, back into owner-operator world. And that is really, I've got two things I want to do on my next episodes. One is I want to talk about some employees. I'm going to name them, which is something I don't normally do. I don't on occasion, but I'm going to name them because I think it's really important that we recognise that. And it's fine. It's nothing particularly bad. Nothing bad at all. But I do want to do that, and I do want to talk about the journey that some of the journey that they've been through, which I can only talk about from a third party, but the journey that I've been through with them and how I feel about that. So I really want to share that so you can kind of get some insight behind the scenes for that. And I will then have to get that episode checked just to make sure it's okay to publish. Then I want to do another episode. I think it'll be two different ones. And I've completely forgotten what I want to do the other episode on. Oh, do you know what? I can't remember. Oh, I want to do one on owner-operators. Shit, sorry. So I want to do one on owner-operators. I want to talk a little bit around the difference between what I see as an entrepreneur, a business owner, or an entrepreneur, a business person, and an owner-operator, and where I see the lines and where I'm trying to get to, and where I think a lot of people are, and where you can get stuck, and sometimes where you want to be and where you end up, and such along lines. So I just want to touch on that. So I want to kind of cover those two things really in some upcoming episodes. So my plan is for those to be the next two episodes. I think they'll be separate because they don't really merge quite right. And then I've got some more things planned for down the line. So that's going to be it. That's the episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. Once again, as Jonah always says, like, share, subscribe. But do ping me any comments, thoughts. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you want me to cover on anything different or asking questions, happy to do that. I've got a couple of people that have asked things on YouTube around, could I talk a little bit about what happens when you fall out with employees, or what happens when it goes really bad with employees, and how you go through a really bad exit, like what we would deem as it's kind of like a bad relationship exit. So I will cover that. I purposely didn't do it actually when I was asked, because we were, funny enough, going through it at the time, and there's a number of legalities in, so I just wanted to be careful about that. So I will do that. And somebody else asked if I could talk about poor relationships or bad relationships, when relationships go wrong, kind of in the wider sense with partners and other businesses, and what that looks like. And again, had experience in that. So thankfully it doesn't happen too often. So I will do an episode on that. I might roll some of those into another podcast series that I'm trying to start. I just haven't had time yet, which is around kind of like business lessons. So I might roll a couple of those into that rather than maybe directly with me. I'll have a think about it. But yeah, anyway, hope you've enjoyed it. And yeah, come back and listen to another episode. So this has been Entrepreneur Life with me, Joel Campbell. And I am an entrepreneur.